Social Media University.
And so you mentioned a number to me that would probably go over a lot of people's heads if they're not in the YouTube world, but you said 20% CTR, so click-through rates. You said that's what you're getting on a consistent basis?
Yeah.
That's absurd. So can you speak to the psychology that you're taking advantage of there, or like leveraging? Because that's absurdly high. For context, like a good video for me, I would consider like 11-12%. So 20 is like wickedly high.
Yeah. So one thing that I always do and I always study is, success leaves clues, right? And anyone listening to this and anyone in the business and entrepreneurial world understands that you need to see someone that is successful currently and understand what they're doing. So what does that mean on YouTube? You know PewDiePie, Mr. Beast, all these big guys, right? They are the creme de la creme, and YouTube obviously loves them and they push their content to more people. Now, what is it that they do that is so compelling that other people have just copied? Well, in their thumbnails, there's so much emotion. There's so many emotional triggers that they're obviously pushing. So now when you look at all of the smaller creators, whether it's 1 million or 500,000 subs down, they all just model very similar thumbnails. So that's obviously one part. It needs to be emotional. It needs to have some kind of reaction, some type of like excitement or something happening that the viewer needs to see and go, wow, that's making me feel a certain way, or that's interesting, intriguing. Now, on top of that, I'd like to utilize some type of intrigue with the WTF factor. So someone that's scrolling, because obviously you've got so many videos on the YouTube, homepage, browse, suggested, whatever. What makes you stop? What makes you different? You can't just have, bright colors to catch attention, because people are smart now. You can't just use total clickbait because it's not going to work. So when I say ethical clickbait, what I mean by that is I'm using obviously the emotional triggers of the particular person, the celebrity, sports star, or if it was myself, my own, emotion that I'm using, but then also trying to create something in the thumbnail that's ethically clickbaitable, that is potentially something within the video that I am talking about or that I'm referencing, putting that into the thumbnail at some point, but also making it related to me. So for example, you've probably seen it and you might even have it on some of your thumbnails, but a lot of people, they look like they're holding something, right? If they're holding something or they're throwing something, then that could be a reference to something that's happening in the video. Or if they're being attacked, then something's coming at them. So utilizing a lot of more imagery, because you don't want text in a lot of thumbnails, because people aren't reading a thumbnail, they're looking at it and they read the title. Then that takes it into the title aspect. The title needs to be compelling and congruent to the thumbnail. So you can't just have a thumbnail that's going to be, like the best thumbnail ever and then have a really crappy title, because they tell a story. So the idea is, you're painting the picture with your thumbnail and then the title is congruent with that. And that then connects the dots that the viewer says, hang on, what's that thumbnail? That's weird, or that's strange, or, that's whatever. And then they read the title and go, oh, okay, that's what that is. That makes them click. So creating that intrigue and really focusing on that allows me to get, 15, 16, 20, and sometimes 30, 40% click-through rate on some of my videos. And yeah, just allows you to see a broad, obviously not everything is like that, but a lot of them do have that higher level of click-through rate.
That's wild, man. Yeah, that's all awesome stuff to hear there, because I think one thing I love that you mentioned is that so many people miss the boat because they don't make the thumbnail complementary to the title, like you mentioned. And they're leaving so much on the table there, because you are exactly that. I say the exact same thing. You're telling a story. You're telling a micro story, literally just to get that click. The sole purpose of that is to get the click.